Ferdinand and Isabella, historians' favorite power couple. You probably know them for sponsoring Christopher Columbus's crossing of the ocean blue in 1492, but they did much more than that. They completed the Reconquista, founded Spain, expanded the Spanish Empire, and did much to change everything. We're going to discuss their individual lives and then their reign together. Now, the history. Ferdinand II was born in 1452, and after his brother died, he was named the heir in 1461. His father personally educated him and was very good at allowing him to learn from experience. Also, he was very keen on getting his son into Castile's court. In addition, he was educated on the liberal arts. But Ferdinand's reign partly began in 1468 in Sicily, but he got the rest of Aragon on the 19th of January 1479. He was publicly serious, but he was softer in private, but always intelligent. He married Princess Isabella in 1469 and loved her very much. He became co-monarch of Castile on the 15th of January 1479 after the War of Castilian Succession, 1475 to 1479, which began after Isabella's father died. Born in 1451, Isabella was never meant to be monarch, but she made history because she did. Her youngest days were quietly spent with her mother, but when her half-brother King wanted to seemingly push around his siblings, he brought them to his court for close supervision. This happened when Isabella was 13, but when that king died, the War of Castilian Succession broke out because he didn't leave any children. This war was between Castile, led by Isabella, and Portugal, led by Alfonso V, who had royal Castilian origins, which is why he could be king. Portugal never had a chance though, so this conflict cemented her rule with Ferdinand, and now their reign began. Their co-reign began in mid-1479, and it had a great start, victory in a war. Actually, a year before the war ended, the Spanish Inquisition began, which was part of a broader modernization plan to strengthen the church and crown. Whether or not he succeeded is debatable. After instigating the Inquisition, a golden opportunity would come. After the pressure of the two kingdoms uniting, Granada stopped paying tribute to Castile and started their own inquisition for Muslim power. This upset the northern kingdoms, so they invaded it in 1482, starting the Granada War. Even though it took 10 years, the two, surprisingly, had victory over one in early 1492. Soon after, Chris Columbus would come along. The rest of Ferdinand and Isabella's reign was diverse. First, myth-busting. Chris thought Earth was smaller than it was and Vikings beamed to America. Anywho, Chris convinced the two to fund him because he wanted to find another route to the Levant for a crusade, and the couple agreed because of the zeal from the end of Al-Andalus. They sort of afforded it even after a costly war when they tapped into Christian groups. Meanwhile, the Inquisition went on as Jews were expelled, which hurt the economy a lot. Sadly, in the late 1490s, the couple's first two kids died. The new heir Juana was going mad, and Isabella herself died in 1504. Ferdinand was forced to marry again after threats from Castile. The rest of Ferdinand's life was hard. He could never love his new wife like how he passionately felt about Isabella. He was forced to intensively work on keeping Spain together, insane Castilian queens included. The old monarch didn't know what to do, and in a desperate act, in 1513, he occupied Navarre, a small kingdom to the north, because they were in a religious struggle. This was very unpopular, and his last big acts were setting up the reign of his grandson, Charles V. This part of his rule highlights how much Ferdinand and Isabella needed each other. When they were together, they could do anything.